I'm joined by a key figure furthering India's push for self-reliance in the defense sector, Puneet Kaura, CEO and Managing Director of Samtel Avionics, a leading Indian defense and aerospace electronics manufacturer. He also serves as the chairperson of the Confederation of Indian Industry Northern Region currently. Puneet, absolute pleasure speaking with you. Thanks so much for making time and joining me here. You're manufacturing high-tech avionics. You're manufacturing rugged military displays, mission-critical systems. It's not just for aerospace, but also in defense and railway sectors as well. Your products were in use during Operation Sindoor. They're battle-tested. Somebody who's helming the push for Atmanirbharta, somebody who's pushing for Indian manufacturing in the defense sector. How have you seen the sector grow in the last 1 year? Let's take it from Sindoor.
Thank you so much for having me on this podcast, and it's a pleasure to be speaking to you on all these important matters, especially in the world we live in today. If I reflect back and at my journey, 2001 was the time when India really opened up the doors for private sector in this country. Until that time, I think most of this was completely in the public sectors and government control of bodies. So that was the time actually I was graduating from college, so it just matched the timing. And I was actually fortunate that we acquired an asset in Europe, which was in Germany and doing very critical cutting edge work in defense. Same time we got an opportunity where DRDO and Samtel came together and started a project to develop India's first cockpit display, and we picked Su-30 as the first aircraft, and rest is history. It took its while, and while we were developing our story over the years, which I will get into in more detail, the evolution of the sector was also happening. And I must say that in the last 2.5 decades or so, since our Prime Minister has taken the charge at the helm, Modi 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 now, the sector has really evolved. And this was always part of the effort on creating a sector which is very, very critical for the country. Then came Operation Sindoor last year, and that changed everything. I think I personally feel this was actually a new birth for this sector, because everybody started looking at India with products which were battle proven. And that is when now the excitement has gone to the next level. At the same time, I think the world is at a different point in at war, and what is happening with the importance of this sector has become even more. So I think this is the broad situation. Of course, there is a lot that's going on, and we can talk more about it as we move along.
You mentioned your story. Let me quickly bring in this fact for our viewers that your family's legacy was consumer TV business. From there, you came into the defense sector. Is the defense sector in India a lucrative option?
See, it's a sector which has got high barriers, but at the same time, it's a sector which has got a lot of opportunities as well. We all know that. Just to give you a quick kind of numbers of facts over here, we are of close to a $4 trillion economy. We spend about 2% of our GDP on defense. A significant part of that 2% goes into buying or repairing our buying new equipments or repairing our existing equipments, divided with the three armed forces: Army, Navy and Air Force. Now, when I look at the opportunities, as we moved from a 4 trillion to a 5 trillion and then beyond, $10 trillion economy, we probably will also move the needle from a 2% spend to 2.5 to 3. Actually, the demand is more like 3, which is more or less than matching the global spends on most of the developed economies in the world. So look at this opportunity on the buying side. Now look at the other side of the story, which is how much do we import or we used to import, and that is changing also drastically. 10-12 years ago, maybe 60-70% was all imported. I think we have now come to a level where we are, I don't remember, but 50-60% in that zone, maybe moving toward. The goal is to at least have 70% indigenous content on all our products and systems, and we are moving in that direction with different policy initiatives. So this is the opportunity. It's pretty huge just in this country. Then there's another part to it, which is Make in India for the world. And we obviously, if we can move, have our mission to space, Mangalyaan, at the cheapest cost possible, reach there. That is the epitome of, can't be a better example of looking at Indian technology, high technology, at such a competitive cost. So that also creates a very big opportunity to make for the world. And I think this is where India would play a very significant role in the years to come. World is looking at India technology as we develop more and more examples of indigenous solutions. We have very good success stories in products like BrahMos, talking about the aircrafts that we are building. AMCA will be coming up in private sector. Tejas we are trying to export. BrahMos will go to multiple different countries now. These are just a few examples. I think this is the beginning. I personally feel this is just the beginning. And what we do in our small way at Samtel, whether it's the avionics systems, which were basically all imported 10 years ago, all of this was coming from different parts of the world. Now we are exporting to the world. People are buying. People have customers in Southeast Asia, customers in South Africa, customers in Europe, customers in the US, all over the world. They are replacing their current supply chains with products coming from very much from a company in Gurgaon.
Yeah, now allow me to come in there. What makes India lucrative to the global market? Because, and as you mentioned, BrahMos, just to elaborate a little further for our viewers, Latin America, there is interest coming in. ASEAN countries, there is interest coming in. Vietnam, Indonesia, we're almost finalized. Philippines have already purchased. UAE is the latest that we've heard in the news. And also in the Gulf countries, there are others that are also eyeing the BrahMos missile. What would they be looking at apart from the capabilities of the missile, which have already been proven in battle? But apart from that, is it easier to deal with India when it comes to defense imports, buying from India?
I think India is trying and now succeeding. They were trying for many years in convincing the world that now we have products which are as good as anywhere else in the world, if not better. And as I just said few minutes back, that the last year's Operation Sindoor with Pakistan, which basically opened up the eyes on a lot of this, which we were trying to tell to the world. So, battle-proven products which actually were built in India, developed in India, there couldn't have been a better demonstration of the capabilities than that. So, from that perspective, from the defense opportunity perspective, I think that opportunity was one of the most unique opportunities, one of the probably best opportunities to showcase to the world that we have those products. Look at us. I think buying from India as far as the capability is concerned is definitely there. What I fear where we need to put more emphasis on is the supply chain of the products we build. And are we really fully indigenous in the full supply chain or not? And that's where the caveats are. A lot of these stories you hear, where you even hear drones are still assembled in India but not really developed in India. There are a lot of parts of that that are still imported. Are we truly self-dependent? Are we truly, in India we call this Atmanirbhar, which means self-dependent totally and making all of that within the country. Now, this sector is one sector where most of the countries in the world are putting a lot of effort with the environment that is built up in the world, with so many conflicts and so many wars going on, that we should have an ecosystem within the country to build these systems within the country. So I think that's where when the big buyers come in, they want to see that evidence. And that is where companies like us come in, where we can be tier one vendors to a lot of platform manufacturers, but showcasing to their final customers, all of this can be built in India. And that creates a lot of confidence that this can be done in India. And I think just to give you one line over here, we are known as the eagle eyes of the Air Force. I think what that means is we are actually the eyes for the fighters. The pilots are flying using our cockpit displays, and we are very proud about that. And we can be eagle eyes for so many air forces around the world. So many, not only just air forces, but even the civilian aircrafts, the helicopters flying across the world. All those are opportunities.
Let's just shift focus to the European region right now. And we were discussing this earlier. I'll bring it up for our audiences now. A lot of countries in the EU, the defense budgets, the collective defense budgets. 2021, it was 218 billion euros. 2025, more recently, it's gone up to 381 billion euros. Of course, the Russia-Ukraine war, as it still continues, has made everyone realize the importance of their defense budget. Does that open an opportunity for India to again showcase and provide the defense services and our equipment? Or is Europe going to be looking towards us?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a very relevant question for today. Actually, what is happening is as these defense budgets are going up, there are capacity constraints and they need partners like India and companies in India to actually work. And I've got a shout from multiple different companies, and there are discussions on where actually they want to see where they can collaborate with companies in India. Another very important point here is
any regions in the world that you can specify?
Europe is definitely one of them. I feel there are opportunities, even quite a few opportunities in India. So how this works is wherever, first of all, we are a buyer, we are insisting in our policies that you need to make at least 50% or more, in some cases up to 60-70% of the system in India. Say if it's even 50%, that means they need to create that ecosystem in the country. When they do that, for those particular capabilities that they build, that can be exported around the world. So that becomes automatically a global supply chain or initiative for that company and for India, and for the company that is obviously partnering with the global overseas players. So that is one opportunity. I think as I talked about the constraints on the capacities, and they're looking at partnering with countries like India. India is also in a very good sweet spot because we have a very young, dynamic workforce available, which is talent-wise there is no dearth of talent in this country. We just need to if you hear of stories of, you keep on hearing of stories of people, companies coming to India, setting up their shops to develop technology here, but we are not doing it ourselves. I think our Indian companies should really push the envelope a little bit more, develop technologies in India, because you really create an export-worthy product when it's truly independently built in India, and the IPRs are all in India also. So you can't really claim a product is Indian till you have that, and that's where we need much more focus. And we can talk more about that, but that's where I feel the opportunity is.
Since we're talking about global powers, let me ask you, would any of these global powers, whether they not, interact with us and help us, or have been there for India when we've needed them, would the world want to see India grow militarily?
Depends on who you ask this question, and what time of the day it is and where you are. But I think if you really look at the countries which are collaborating with us, they want to sell technologies, they want to sell their products. We want some of those cutting edge technologies, so we have policies where a significant part can be built in India.
So even if they help, would it not only be till the threshold of their own limits? They would want to keep us to a threshold.
Yeah, that's true. I think it goes back to the same thing that we are talking about. There are certain building blocks, there are certain jewels, they call them. I think there are always certain reservations to give those jewels to any country. Right. And till you don't have those with you, I think that this problem will always be there, because you will always be some way or the other, when you're buying the technology, dependent on that foreign OEM. In our small way, whatever we do in our aerospace and defense electronic products, I think this is at the helm of our strategy. We try and be as independent of the future challenges that can come if you don't have this policy within the company, and we are very, very conscious about it. So all the products that we have are technologically, IPR wise, totally 100% owned by us, and I strongly advocate this as a member on different forums, including CII, that innovation and innovation spend should be looked at. Just a minute more on this. If you look at innovation, we are at about 0.3% of our GDP spend right now. Globally, this number is anywhere between 3 to 5%. And those countries which have the 3 to 5% spend of their GDP are already having a lot of products that are developed, and they have a lot of technology that is already very advanced, and still they continue to do at 3 to 5% rate. So till we don't accelerate our speed in doing this, the real developed India 2047, Viksit Bharat as we call it in India, that dream would be truly realized when we have multiple examples of this. And I'm very conscious that, and I'm very it's very apparent all the way from the top, PM Modi pushing continuously, promoting continuously these examples wherever he sees them across the world, in front of the world, because these are the examples which create aspirations to the millions of youngsters who are coming up as startups or going to the workforce. You should have this long-term vision from the perspective of building products, developing products in India. And this mindset changes, a lot will change.
As more and more startups come in, more from the private sector step in the defense sector, do you feel we can be 100% Atmanirbhar, self-reliant by 2047?
Absolutely. I have no doubt about it. There is absolutely...
Even in the supply chain?
Yes, there is no dearth of talent, there is no dearth of opportunities. It is just the will. It is just the will. We have done it. Why can't more people do it? What is so special about it? It is just putting your strategy in the right direction, making sure that you will have tunnels which will be very dark when you go through that journey. You will have sleepless nights. You will have to be patient. You will have to have perseverance. But you will one day, maybe you put your target to develop something X number of years and you are delayed by a couple of years. Those delays might create some sort of disappointment in what you're doing. Those are the challenges I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, you are in this industry, a product lives minimum 20 to 40 years, depending on the life of the platform you're in. Especially fighter aircrafts have at least that much life because multiple mid-life upgrades happen. So look at it from a perspective of a long-term business that you'll create for generations to come. This is the mindset. If it changes, those short delays and those gestation periods will not look very long to you. And I'm sure with the advancement in technologies and what is available in terms of the tools, AI, how things are improving and speed is becoming better. When we developed our products, AI was not available. Now I know that AI can be used to develop our our processor boards, which are multi-layered, very fast, very complex boards that go as part of our avionics products, using AI at maybe 1/10, maybe even less than 1/10 the time. So these are the kind of opportunities.
Your expertise are in the cockpits, and these are in the fighter jets. This is one of the parts of the portfolio.
Yeah.
How long do you feel that's going to be the main part of your portfolio, given the number of and how relevant drones have become in today's warfare?
I think it's changing very fast. So we are looking at satellite as one diversification. We are already we have completed our concept. We have already identified the building blocks, and we are looking at very special technology, not only for our armed forces but for global customers. And that is something which will revolutionize what we're going to do for this country. So that is one big area. Drones, we are not going to do drones like just the kamikaze drones. We are looking at some niches over there. Another area which I'm looking at is signaling and detection. This is an area which we are mostly importing a lot of technology from different parts of the world. This is basically jamming and intercepting what we want to hear across the borders, what's going on. That's another technology that we have developed, and that will be part of our portfolio as we speak. So these are new diversifications, big diversifications, and this will be probably a big chunk of our turnovers in the years to come. So no, I think avionics would be definitely there, but I see in a 3 years time frame, maybe 25% of our turnover should come from here, 75% from new areas. That's how I look at the future.
A young kid from college who's just stepped out now starts making drones. We've even seen cases from IITs and other institutes where they are already engaging with the armed forces. How much do you feel that's going to become more and more prevalent? Because that's something, or your answer, will help in motivating more individuals to get into this sector.
I think my story is very similar. I came out of college and although we had a legacy business of 50 years, we used to make picture tubes before, as you know, and we were world's largest manufacturer picture tubes. But I never joined that business. I always came into this, which was a startup at that time. So I actually saw this journey right from the day one. And I'm very happy and proud about that our company could build this through the legacy we had for so many years. But coming to your particular question, I think opportunities are immense. Youngsters are definitely looking at this sector. We have so many stories now where we have satellites going in the space from startups. We have drones that are coming up. Most of these companies are 5, 8, 10 years old, maybe even less. So these are, mostly semi startups or startups. So we have success stories, and these success stories are leading to more success stories because they are becoming more aspirational. And I really wish that the younger generation who's listening to this podcast, who's seeing this podcast, actually kind of gets inspired by what they hear today. Because I think my example is an example of millions of younger people who are looking at this sector, want to come into this sector and want to do something for the country, because this particular sector actually really makes you do something directly for your armed forces. And I think that is one thing that I kind of promote a lot in the company as well. Most of my workforce is very young. Still, I think the average age group is somewhere around 28, 30, 32. I don't know, in that zone. It's gone up a little bit because I have also grown up a little bit. But and we have some of our leaders who have also grown up. But having said that, it's a young company, and more younger people who are joining us, they're aspired by what we do. They're looking at doing something for the country, the cause of the country, and Atmanirbharta and defense and high technology areas couldn't have been more important than what it is today. So that creates the excitement.
Puneet, I think that's an ideal parting note for our conversation. Thanks so much for your time. There will be more to discuss. Would look forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you so much for having me with you. Thank you so much.